What is it that one can do to become more and more confident?
Yep. So when I look at confidence, and this is probably one of the questions that I get asked the most, whenever people come to the practice, whenever people start the course, I ask them, what do you want? Right? I'm like, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to see yourself as? So I can serve them and get them to that point. And one of the most commonly answered things is, I want to be more confident. And so I first want to define what confidence is, and I think that's then going to help us understand how you can practically become more confident. So when we define confidence, we look at, I say there are three levers. Now, let's first define what confidence is. In my mind, confidence is how long it takes you to move from uncertainty to action. Yeah? So the time it takes between uncertainty and action is what confidence is. And a practical example I'm going to make is maybe driving. So the first time you drove a car, the amount of time it took you to get that car to moving to what it takes today has drastically decreased. So the shorter the time, the more confident you are, the longer the time, the less confident you are. And with other people, that time never ends. Some people never get inside of a car. So that time continuously go because they step inside of a car and they think, oh my goodness, I'm so uncertain. I don't know how this works. I don't know how this goes. Then they step away. The same thing with public speaking. A confident public speaker is not someone who is automatically or naturally confident. It's the person who says, I'm feeling nervous right now. I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I'm feeling uncertain right now, but I'm going to say the thing anyway. I've got a question in my mind and I'm going to ask the question. The person who's not a confident communicator then sits with thoughts in their mind and they never say the thing that they're thinking, or they sit with thoughts in their mind and they say something that's not it, or they say something that's significantly shorter. And so if you think about confidence as the ability to move from uncertainty to action, and you want to be able to minimize that time as far as you possibly can in order to be more confident. So that's how I define confident. Now let's talk about how to practically become confident. There are three levers or three contributors to confidence. There's the first one is physiology, which is basically put, how do you feel given a specific situation? So for instance, I've got a physiological reaction to this conversation we're having right now. We had a chat, you said, come in, let's have this chat about communication. I'm obviously nervous about it, right? Because there's an audience that you have, I revere you, I respect your time. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to waste your time, I don't want to waste your audience's time, and I want to make sure that I use this time to serve. So that's causing for nerves. I might say the wrong thing. I might say something offensive. I might say something inaccurate. So there's so much uncertainty that's bubbling in my mind, and that causes this physiological response, which is nerves right now. Because in this situation, there's all of those possibilities that might happen. So the first contributor to confidence is what you feel in a certain situation. And let's maybe use a different conversation or a different example. If the situation that I'm in is something that I'm used to. So for instance, I'm delivering a training. I deliver training all the time. I'm going to be less nervous for that training than I am for this, because this is a more unfamiliar domain than the training. So the physiological part contributes to your confidence. Then the second one is observation. So who are some of the people that you've seen, and what are some of the things that you're looking at? What are some of the conversations that you're having? That contributes towards your confidence. So for instance, if I'm surrounded with people that are talking big things, they're making big moves, right? And if I'm exposed to some of that, it rubs off. It naturally rubs off because it changes how I think about things and it changes my standards. And when I step into different rooms, so for instance, after a conversation with you, there are some situations I'm going to step into more confident than I would have before I had the conversation with you, right? So the observation and what you hear and what you expose yourself to. Then the last one is skill level. So how competent are you? And skill is often, it's over a particular realm, right? So for instance, you are a competent business person. You're good at business. You've succeeded at the game of business. And because you've gained competence there, you then have confidence in that specific realm. And other realms, you're able to spread over several things. Right? So for instance, I'm competent in communication. I know the nuts and bolts of how to communicate, and I've gotten good at it. As a result, I've become confident in my ability to communicate. And so wherever I'm expected to communicate, I feel confident in that arena. But if you pop me in a surgery room and you give me a scalpel and you say, perform surgery, I'm going to be terrible because I've never done it before. I don't have the training. And my physiology is going to say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I'll eventually drop the scalpel and run away, right? But if you give it to a friend of mine, there's a friend of mine, Dr. Solitas Nomano, who's a surgeon. You give him a scalpel, he's going to execute that thing in a matter of minutes and it's going to say, next, please. Because he's gotten the practice, he's gotten the competence in it. So there's those three things. There's physiology, how you feel in a certain situation, observation, what have you been exposed to, and the third one is skill level, which is where I think the most amount of gain can be made by people.